We are back in Chicagoland for the final round of coverage on day 4, live from Chicagoland. It is Jesse and Evans Clinchy joining you on site, and we have Sam Rosin joining us once again remotely to provide his expert insight into this final game. Welcome back, Sam.
Thanks for having me back, Jesse. Glad to be
Also,
back. Go
ahead, Sam. Sorry.
Oh, no, just saying, glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you back. And then I wasn't aware, it was totally my fault, but Paul Gallen was not able to stay for the last round for commentary, so he sends his best wishes to everyone. And we thank him for dropping in for the afternoon. It was really fun to have him, and we're happy to have Sam back now for this last round. Will be going first. Let's go and see the action here at board 1.
Oh, Will's probably going to find a bingo there with ornate and blank. Probably about 50 different choices there. So another good start for keeping things competitive at the top of the leaderboard.
Wow.
So Dave's got it.
Dave has now lost 3 games in a row, and he doesn't want to lose a fourth. This is going to get...
Nice.
Oh my God, he has sex scene. Oh. Dave has been entertaining us with these racks all day. This is incredible.
You gotta love it.
I guess when you're not on turn, especially the first turn of the game, you might as well entertain the live streaming audience.
But before we get to something a little bit more steamy from Team Wiggy, we are waiting to get the big old score to start this game from William, who is
You just wanted to sing his name again. All right, looks like he's going to play Nortina. The E on the star, is that? Okay.
Ooh, I see we have someone new that hasn't been in the chat for a while. David Firstman, hello. It is nice to see you.
Oh, hey, David.
Hi,
David. How's that score? 64-0? Yes.
Success. It's new to me.
Success. Oh, nice. Or you could just play execs, right?
Of the valid plays, that's certainly one of the good ones.
Oh my God, he actually set up sex scene for like over 100.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Will's made a nice choice, not surprisingly, but he's taken away the no vowels next to double letter scores. An S would hook on, I guess, for execs or something, but at least he hasn't given Dave any easy plays, like to use the X for over 30.
Yeah, I think he's followed all the rules of how to play a blank bingo to open. Also, like duplicate the blank with another letter so there's fewer floaters for 8s. Give him an N with the N on the board. I'm not sure how much that one really matters, but it's kind of a rule of thumb people use, I guess.
You know, it was probably between the Nortena or Nortenia and Ornator. Or maybe if there was another one like that. Looks like he's lining up that choice of execs as a possibility that you mentioned.
You could play Cox's through the O. It keeps an E, which is a nice tile, but it's 7 points less, and 7 is a lot. Execs looks pretty strong to me. And Quackle's not anything better
either. It does set up that, I mean, Will won't be able to, I guess only if there's a Z, it sets up that high scoring spot next to the EXE, like paralleling it on the left with the triple letter, but Will probably won't be able to make much of it with the rack he happens to have. So Cox's might be a bit more defensive.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I didn't know that what Cesar is saying is that Wiegand is well known to steam as in like tilt, like in poker, like when he has when he's losing or drawing poor tiles, like play worse. I don't know if that's a serious
No.
comment.
Yeah, I
or
don't buy
not,
that
or-
at all. I think
No.
he's one of the most level-headed, like solid players there is.
I believe that's a little playoff of what I was saying earlier about some steamy coming up, given what Dave lined up on his rack.
If I were in the chat right now, I would type define projection. But that's just me. I don't know.
Big now.
Dave really taking his time here, over 3 minutes now, but it's a tough position. Looks like a Quackle Sim is actually saying that just Rex, just playing EX from the R is pretty strong. I'm kind of surprised by that. The defense is pretty strong, though. Your opponent is only going to score 36 points per turn rather than 44 with execs. So you give up some points now, but you perhaps save some points later.
Kanbatsu, welcome to the chat. Giving us the Enye letter, which of course doesn't exist in the standard English alphabet, but does in the Spanish alphabet. And technically with this word, you are correct. That second N in the word would be the Enye. So it would be norteña if you were to pronounce that word absolutely correctly.
Oh, and he does choose Rex. Wow. Quackle likes it, so who am I to argue? That's a nice play, I guess.
It makes them board so much more. Yeah, nice job, Dave, finding that more defensive option.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
But chat's pointing out that it just so happens to give Will a better score because he's going to play he probably will line up Joram.
Nice. Yeah, that's the best feeling when you're like hoping your play isn't blocked, and then it turns out your play just ends up scoring more. Yeah, that makes Joram a pretty clear best play there. So Will takes an early lead of 103 to 26.
Wow.
And Dave has not drawn a bingo, despite his very strong lead.
As Jeremy points out, Korma was blocked, but as it turns out, Jerome scored very well, and it's worth having the lead that is perfectly synergistic. But it looks like he's pulled just fine.
Hold on, I'm just Googling what time is it in Singapore. It's 6:22 a.m. I'm wondering whether Jeremy is already up or still up.
He's a vampire.
Or he just doesn't sleep ever, yeah.
Ollie No Look points out that Canoness is blocked.
Oh, yeah, Canoness, nice. Yeah, Sonances, also would have played, but Canoness would be the double-double.
Jeremy Hildebrand points out, so Norton X will make it in one day, question mark? Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a whole can of worms with what's going on as far as how they're approaching suffixes and grammatical gender in Spanish. There's been a lot of discussion around that. The X, of course, being the recent substitute for either of the vowels that you would normally see, but also the arroba, as they call it, the at symbol, is often used in writing at the end of words to replace an O or an A as well.
So Will's going to be happy to see that A, because he's got words like kite and kadi now through the A to use his Q. Is there anything else you should consider besides just a quick Q play? I don't see much.
Yeah, once you pointed out the Q plays, I think it makes sense to me to just try to, especially with the lead, to get rid of the Q and just make sure you have a decent rack to be able to, not get too slowed down as you want to maintain that moderate sized lead. But there may be a high scoring play that I'm not spotting.
No, I think it's just QAID looks pretty straightforward. Nothing else to consider really. It is QAID, right? Yes. Okay. Just look at that blurry internet.
that Donna is making the interesting point about how it's amazing how the players are opening the triple word scores. I remember that surprised me, at least when I started playing competitively, how fearless people were about opening triple words. But Dave, playing words like cans, I'm guessing he's been doing that all weekend and will continue to.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're playing opponents like Will, who are just, top level players, they're capable of finding high scoring plays all the time in all sorts of places on the board, whether it's a triple or not. And therefore,
You might as well.
you might as well open more stuff because they're going to find high scoring plays anyway. Speaking of Will finding high scoring plays, I think he's got Nervure.
Yes.
Oh, no, that doesn't play, right? Because, I think it doesn't fit.
Yeti goes down, as was suggested by Lewis in the chat a little earlier. And yes, Donna, that's one of the nice things about Dave's play of Yeti is he does keep the S left over to hook Cade potentially, or Norteña a little later on. He hasn't unfortunately drawn a whole bunch more vowels, despite making a nice balancing play.
This is a gross position for Will. I mean, it looks like he's got a bingo, Nervure, but if that doesn't play, which it doesn't, then you don't have much. Like, what are you going to do? Play Irov for 13? It's not great.
Something like that might be
comment.
That might be the best option. That might be the best option. At least that gets rid of the U and the V. It's not and his double E and R.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Donna points out that he, as in Dave, has been the vowel king today. Yes, he has made a number of unfortunate vowel heavy draws today.
But he's also had some maybe he's just had some bad draws because he's had some constant heavy ones too.
Yeah.
Those games that he lost against, I think it was Will the previous time, and then Jesse, he was pretty constant heavy.
Yeah.
Anybody in chat? I don't think you're going to play review, setting up the P for preview. That is insane, Scott. What are you thinking?
No.
Scott found the preview hook right after in chat.
Oh, okay. Never mind. He says, "Yep."
All right. So we've got people picking their stands. So it looks like Donna is rooting for Dave. She is solidly Team Dave. I was commenting to Will on his way to the washroom after the last round. He's like, "Yep, the stands are showing out in full force. We've got a few of us in the running now." Commenting on the Jesse Day stands, starting to get a little bit louder.
So this is the stands are probably going to want to tune in for this must be the first game where Dave could clinch, possibly if the results if Jesse Day were to lose and Dave were to win this game.
I believe so. I think
I think it was possible last round.
Last round it was definitely possible.
He would need Will to lose and for him to himself to beat Jesse.
This one I'm not sure, but last round it was possible.
My mistake.
Yeah, we had to have a pairings break because the pairings might have shifted based on some Gibsonizing. And then the moment Will won, we unbroke and just paired him with Dave. All right, what's happening here? Nothing? Okay. Still waiting on Will to find his way out of this agonizing situation with no good plays available.
Jeremy says, this tileback has been fairly awful for several games now. Yeah, I can't disagree for board one. It's certainly been a little bit of a rough go.
Big Dig Blue asks where Will is from. Someone has answered Will Andersonville, but since I'm coming from New Jersey here, I know Will's from, I think the town was called Croton-on-Hudson or some town in Westchester County, New York, just north of New York City. And Scott's right that he does live in Pennsylvania. He lives near Lancaster in a town I can't remember the name of. But,
that's okay. It's actually there's an update now because he has moved again. He and Allison actually live in New Jersey now. But yes, Croton. I don't know if it was Croton Harmon, but Croton for sure.
Croton Hudson was right, I think. We can just debate this for the entire hour and just not watch Scrabble if you want.
Yeah. But yeah, Croton for sure. But now in New Jersey.
I think, yeah, I think Will's wife got a job near Princeton. So they bought a house in that area. All right, so Irov
Will
was
is-
played with the 2 overlaps, not the 1 overlap version. Okay. And Dave's got a whole bunch of garbage.
Doop, doop, de doop, de doop.
You can play Viae, Viae from the V. You can play Oni, O-N-I-E through the N in cans. So you can score 14 or you can score 8.
Strong.
Always strong. Exchanging is, of course, a thing that is allowed in Scrabble.
The S at least is a very well. Dave does opt for the exchange, and he keeps that S. So
Okay.
it's hard to score much without the S. I guess you could score to the triple word, maybe a QI word, and there's not that many options without an S on this board. So even though he's losing, at least he has that, to maybe bolster his chances.
I mean, if I'm
Unless he keeps drawing racks like what he's just drawing.
Jeez, yeah. Like if I'm Dave in this position, I am just sick and tired of the lousy racks I've been drawing all afternoon, and I want to just exchange them as fast as possible. But that's a little just like emotional impulse you might have. But again, like I've established, Dave is not prone to that.
Deputies.
Oh,
There is
okay.
a D
Maybe
for
he's
deputies.
drawing
I didn't
just
see
fine
the D. I didn't see that was in the bottom
yeah,
left.
none of us
there.
realize that he's actually drawing a bingo.
Although if Will plays something like Chem, then that would.
Ooh, yes, that is true.
That does seem like a fairly likely play given what's available on the board, but let's
Yeah.
have to wait to see first.
Yeah, Chem's the best play by far. The only good news is that Chem gives back a counterplay of Pine, making QI and HIE on the other side of it.
Chris Pine.
Huh?
Yes. There he goes.
Or Chicago pizza pie.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
end of the day.
Sure.
Well, both valid,
Italian beef.
both very valid options.
Tasty. I will definitely agree. Tasty. We haven't had beef dish, come to think of it.
Yeah, we intended to do that, and then it's never happened. Where did the week go? It all went by so fast.
Sure. Fast. Yeah. It's been interesting for sure. Fast in one sense, and yeah, it's been quite interesting.
So it looks like Pine's the best play, and yeah, he's going to play it pretty quick. Good work there. It is down by 64 here, 184 to 120. And we'll see what Will has in store for us here.
Probably play niggle, like to annoy, to the triple word. If he wants it does open up some possibilities for Dave, but in that sort of fearless spirit, he may just want to keep scoring and make use of score 30 points. That's the only way I see to be able to do it. Though maybe there's some 9-letter word through the NE or the AR.
So the 6-tile plays at the bottom of the board rather than the top, because you have the L hook to make Axel.
It was Ligger and Linger, I believe.
Yeah, score a little more. You can play Leggin or Ligger, and those are both 41. Looks like Will is looking at Niggle, though. I think he's looking at that top part of the board and considering playing up there. Yeah, and he is indeed reaching for those tiles to open up the top. Interesting. And we've been talking about playing fearless Scrabble all day. That's kind of been a theme we've been touching on. And Will certainly does that here. Turns out he had nothing to fear because Dave is drawing terrible. Oh, just kidding. He has a bingo. I didn't see it. Who can spot Dave's bingo? I mean, I'm sure Dave, that's who.
He's put it back in off-the-gram order. Outguess.
Yeah, Scott finds it in chat. Outguess is the valid 8-letter word here for Dave. So I retract my statement about Dave drawing terribly.
He's still got to find it. And we got to put in the human factor, even for someone as amazing as Dave is at Scrabble, given he has had 3 consecutive losses.
It's a hard one to find. The GUESS, it doesn't seem like the most natural sort of combination of I don't know the linguistic term, but of letter combinations, I guess. And there's the OUS suffix that he's got arranged on his rack, so he might be thinking about that first, like a misspelled studious or something. Not that there's a D for that, but alternatives like that.
Yeah. OUS being one of the more common affixes or suffix in this particular case that he's going for, looking to jog his memory.
Boy, if you don't find this bingo, there is a big drop off to the next best play. Like, it is a huge equity sacrifice to play anything else. And especially at this score, down by 99 points, he has to find this.
Must be hard though. It's last round of the day, fourth day of the tournament, and like you said, it's after 3 losses in a row, and he might be getting frustrated with different clunky, 6 vowel racks and things of that nature.
Definitely. So this is round 28. I think everybody's pretty tired at this point, including me. I don't know about you, Jesse.
It's definitely taken some full attention here.
Oh. Both reacted the same way. Yeah.
Oh, he's going to kick himself for that.
Yeah. Sue is a nice non-bingo play because it's kind of opening up some more possibilities for you next turn. But yeah, score it's 15 instead of 68. That's got to hurt. All right, so Will's in a pretty commanding position on the scoreboard right now, up by 84. And it looks like he's going to fairly quickly make his play. 27. Drib? Yeah, okay. I got that blurry monitor again. All right, Drib for 27. Yeah, Will's in a pretty strong spot now. Oof. Dave's got UW. I mean, do you fish again? Ugh, this is painful.
Yeah,
it's the perfect time for and we were talking yesterday about uwu, the slang term for dictionary. So this would fit right there with the U and eruv.
Yeah, no open C. Yeah. Outscrewed. No uwu.
Well, if you fish the W, then Crusette is a really interesting 6-tile stem to fish with. Hits a lot of bingos. I don't know, though.
That's interesting. It's you don't score much. You just get 6 points or something.
Exactly. Yeah, you can only get a 6-point play of war with your W.
Yeah.
Strong, as Mr. Rusumov would say.
Le soleil se couche, triste. The sun is setting, sad, says Kusimov.
I don't think the sun is setting on this one just yet. Let's not count out Dave Wiegand.
Scott says
Although,
Will has a bingo.
Is that gold tail? Yeah, Will's got gold tail lined up. Or not lined up, but he will see it, I bet. No, go away, Resign Gang. You're not welcome here. We got people playing for $10,000. Their spreads matter. Sorry to say.
Resignations. No.
All right, so Wud is a sad play, and it is not going to block Goldtail either. Oof, just
Yes.
rough.
It's sort of the alternative you brought up about playing like the W for war is interesting. Maybe it would have had a Cruets. It's sort of unusual to keep the U, but would have had a good balance between the consonants and vowels. And meanwhile, as you predicted, Evan's Goldtail immediately or nearly immediately being played by Will. So he, despite not arranging it, he on his rack, he saw it.
David's drawing a bingo of his own, though.
Smoke him if you got
Smoke him
him.
if you got him, says
Yeah.
chat. Yep. Yeah, cigarettes is the bingo that David's drawn, and it plays in two different spots,
Yeah,
with the higher one being
the better. Yeah.
through the eye and niggle up top. 76 points for that. I would expect to see that one fairly quickly from Dave.
But meanwhile, Will has drawn a bingo of his own.
Oh, my
and
Lord.
Peonies can be spelled in this sort of obscure spelling of, I think this is the flower peony,
Yeah,
and you could play it with soup.
Yep.
that'll be a GG.
Wow. Yeah, so cigarettes does come down. And so Dave is going to get within 100, but that being within only 100 will not last for very long. Yeah. Guineas is going to be 82, assuming Will finds it, and I think he's gonna.
Yeah, Will's lining up peonies. He's just scary good.
And there it goes. Will's going to take the lead 400 to 218.
Jeez.
And if he holds on to win this game, he's going to be 18-9 after starting the tournament 4-7. Let's just take a moment
Phenomenal.
and reflect on that. From 4-7 to 18-9.
Providing quality content for the Standersons with this outstanding performance. Will's already 18-9. Yeah.
Well, he'll be 19-9,
Yeah,
I guess. So.
19-9.
15 out of 17, not too shabby. I guess that's what inspires stands of not just Dave and Jesse, but also Will.
Yeah.
We already established that the stands of Wiegand are called the Wiggets, right?
Yes.
What do we call the Jesse Day stands?
Ooh, that's a good question.
The Daniacs? The I don't know. Oh, the J Hive.
That works.
I don't know. We'll workshop it. It's
The
fine.
JD Hive. It's almost Beehive. So hobo to keep
Oh,
things
Dayman.
interesting.
There you go. Day
The Dayman.
Sailors. The Bon Jovi Roadies. What are you talking about, Scott? That makes no sense. Oh, it's because of the hair. He looks like John
Yeah.
Bon Jovi. Okay, yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
terrible. No,
The Daydreamers. Ooh, that's pretty
that's good. I like that.
That's very good.
That's clever. Daydreamers.
So okay,
Does
we've got
Will-
it set then.
Yeah.
We've got the Wiggets, we've got the Standersons, and we have the Daydreamers. And yes,
Is Will drawn Zeal for 94? I think Will has drawn Zeal for 94 in the top right corner.
Oh,
oof.
my.
Ah,
Yeah, it's going to score more than Dave's. Dave's has a bingo, but Zeal will score more than the bingo.
Yeah. Jeez.
I don't think Dave is buying beer tonight. I think Will is.
I don't think Will is buying beer either. But I think it means you and I are buying Dave beer.
Yeah, probably.
Or we're being good friends and being like, get a good night's sleep, man. You could use it.
Yeah. I have a feeling he's gonna want to go to bed early, so I will probably have to as well.
Looks like Will's going to find Zeal. Shocker.
Scott in the chat is saying he might consider blocking the triple. It'd be a sacrifice of 40 points, so a lot to sacrifice, but maybe worth considering when you're already winning by 150. He's going to opt for scoring 94. Usually hard to fault someone for scoring that many points. So.
Yeah, Zeal puts him ahead by 240, so I think he can just
fine.
let him triple.
Yeah, that's fine.
Also, he's not going to triple. Although it wouldn't be the first time we'd see Dave triple through an H. No, that was Austin. Excuse me. It was Austin who had Tashist through an H in fourth position.
Yeah.
All right. A waiter is going to come down, and it's not going to be nearly enough. A waiter's going to empty the bag too.
Yeah, definitely a tough afternoon for Dave.
Dave's going to draw the blank. He's going to draw a pretty good rack. It's almost like fathomer or half tone through the H, but not quite a triple.
Gertrude suggests luck box. Well, yeah, like Dave would say that he definitely was pulling very well early, and I think Will probably did the same version of that a little bit later on. Obviously, both are extremely good players, but also very skilled and a little bit of luck helping as well. Will decided to do the little gambit and wait a little bit of time.
Yeah, so these are the final racks. The bag is empty, and Dave is not going to win this one. It's going to be an 0-4 afternoon for Dave Wiegand. Just a brutal day 4. He was in a commanding position to win this tournament, and he still is in a good position, to be fair, but a little closer, as both Will and Jesse Day are going to have a chance to catch Dave. I am keeping an eye on table 2, where Jesse is currently playing Evan Borowski. I think Jesse needs to win to stay alive, because if he finishes the day at 17, he will be 3.5 behind Dave.
Yeah. We're about to find out
wait a
how
minute.
many people are in the race.
Let me refresh this. Hold on. Maybe I'm just completely getting this information right now.
Should have 28 rounds.
Yeah, that's what I just realized. Yeah. Well, that's right. Okay, so Dave is 2.5 up. So even if Jesse loses, he's still alive because he's 2.5 back from Dave. Okay.
So we're about to find out just how many people are in the race. It looks like Eldar, realistically, is the only other person who has some shot still.
True. Well, and Borowski, if he wins... Spread. Well, if he wins like 3 in a row by hundreds, yeah, I mean, we'll see. The round 28 games are about half of them in the room are over, but we're still waiting on Dave Borowski, and we're still, playing out the string on this one with Will and Dave here in the end game.
Yeah. Donna says, Will seems perfectionistic. Well, Will plays a pretty high caliber. It's pretty rare to see misses from Will of any kind. His word knowledge is basically second to none. I wouldn't even say second to Nigel, unless you're getting up to like maybe 11s, 12s, 13s.
You're talking about Will?
Yeah, Will's word knowledge is insanely good.
Oh,
Nigel is still Nigel, but I mean, like, for words that are realistically playable most of the time, he's extremely good. So yes, perfectionistic is a reasonable word to use.
and it may be fair to, at least in my experience, I feel some top Scrabble players have a perfectionistic streak. I think nothing inspires memorizing tens of thousands of obscure letter strings as much as perfectionism. So I think that's a insightful comment that maybe there's some not to psychologize any but myself, and maybe there's some perfectionism going on in at the top levels of the Scrabble arena.
I think that's fair.
That's very fair. And Donna, yeah, Dave will absolutely still make a good showing. He's still very much commanding the lead of the field here. Regardless, he will place quite well. First is still looking very good. It's just a question of by how many games he'll be up at the end of today. And that'll make tomorrow be very, very important. Vertalobe says he, as in Will, streams on Twitch occasionally. You'd like him. He plays lots of different word games. Yes, he does. Will is a very entertaining streamer. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend watching and having a good time. I believe he streams as Wanderer 15. I think the same name as he uses in most of his word games.
That's right.
Have you all seen him stream Boggle or Scrabble Cubes, and that game that's something similar to Boggle?
Yeah, I've watched him, and actually someone has written in this channel correctly that he does stream on this very channel, the Scrabble Twitch channel, which makes sense, given Will's connection to Scopely.
Yeah, he actually works for the company that makes this channel, so.
Yeah.
He is the Scrabble expert manager for Scopely. I believe that's his title.
Listeem asks, what time are games tomorrow? The same time? Yes, the final 3 games will be played starting at 9:30 a.m. local time tomorrow. So that will be 7:30 a.m. Pacific time and 10:30 a.m. Eastern time.
I think it's wait. So the opposite of that?
7:30 a.m. Pacific time would be 9:30 a.m. Central time, and then 10:30 a.m. Eastern time.
You're right. Sorry. Time zone math is hard.
I'm a flight attendant.
I know. Of course. Yeah. I know. Why would I ever do that?
Literally, my job is to tell people how many hours there have been of change between time zones every time you go out. Dr. Earth asks, are these videos archived? I do believe they are saved to this Twitch channel for some period of time. Our producer might have some insight. Perhaps you can let us know behind the scenes, but I'm pretty sure these get saved to the channel for at least some time.
Yeah, and I believe we're planning to put them on YouTube as well, but that might take a little bit of time.
So our producer has confirmed, yes, for a month they are kept on this channel. And then as Evans has mentioned, there are plans to put the footage on YouTube, so they will be a little more permanent. Our producer has clarified, generally I edit into individual matches sometime after. That's fantastic. I'd love to hear that.
You love to see it, literally, on YouTube.
Jeremy asked for the unseen tile pool.
There is none. The bag's empty.
The bag is empty.
That's an easy one.
This is explaining, perhaps, I was starting to wonder why Will was taking so long, if it was just the perfectionism, but the bag being empty makes more sense that he'll be thinking about, how to maximize his score with a perfect knowledge of Dave's rack.
Yeah, Will's got to be like 1,000,000% sure there's no triple through the H for Dave. We have computers, so we know that there is none, but for a human, it's hard to be confident of these things. But yeah, it turns out there is no bingo at all for Dave. There's nothing you need to block. And the best play is just to score points with Kudo, which Will eventually does figure out. Kudo is the correct play. Well done.
Pony.
To clarify for...
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, just about Netdonna as saying Will might be running out the clock. So this may have been mentioned earlier, but there's just a point penalty for going overtime. So if Will were to run the clock beyond 0, he would only really be hurting his own score. I guess the only benefit would be psychologically having Dave have to sit there in a game that he's losing by 107. Probably not worth hurting his own point spread.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then Ponybur says, do here, is there a point limit to win the game? As is mentioned further down in the chat, no. There is technically no limit to the points that you could score in a game. You play out until one of the two players has used their last remaining tiles, and at that point, the other player would have to show the tiles they have left, and that is doubled and added to the score of the person who has used their tiles first.
And watching carefully for a result from table 2, still nothing. So we don't yet know the fate of Jesse Day here. He might have a chance to win the tournament still, or he might not.
Joho asks, is there a known record high call-in score in a tournament game? That's a good question because it would depend on the metric. I'm trying to go back to think. I believe once upon a time there was a slightly different version of the way you would play tournament Scrabble games where the idea was to collaborate to make a maximal collaborative score. And I believe that was Phil Appleby with another player some time ago where it was 1,000 plus for a combined score. I just don't recall what the record high call-in score is for a more traditional competitive match as we play nowadays. I don't have an immediate answer for that, but there would be a quantified answer for that somewhere. I would imagine the Westbo website. Yeah.
I see. MMCR is asking, what plays do you think Dave is considering right now, and do you think he knows he's out of luck? He definitely knows he's out of luck. I mean, there's no coming back from down 200 points at the end. And he can't get a bingo of any kind. There's no play that uses all 7 tiles. So really all he can do is just score as many points as possible with the letters he's got. So I'm sure he's looking at words like he's got forhent, Forhent, through that H in the top left corner. And then at the bottom, he can play words that form the words oak and none, things like often or soften.
He's not going to score any. He won't maybe get a high game. What's the word? Record in this game with his score, but the spread may still matter for him because there's some other players with the half points like David Eldar and like Evan Borofsky, and well, especially David Eldar. It's possible his spread could overtake Dave, so he might want to just make sure he's finding some of those plays you mentioned, Evans.
The chat has pointed out Wiegand with an 850 point game would be the current record. That sounds right. That's triggering my memory bank in some way. That's very likely the current one. And that's the players going out formally there to conclude the final round of the day on day 4. We'll have a final score for you shortly, but this will be Will Anderson's win.
So it's just phone. I'm trying to get caught up here. Phone and then phone and vet. Got it. Okay. It's a G. Okay. Very important to specify that blank. It's gath. Okay. Not path, not math. All right. So your final score is going to be Will Anderson 553 and Dave Wiegand 382. And with that win, we're going to have Will improving to 19-9.
Wow.
Meaning he's only 1.5 wins back from Dave Wiegand with 3 games still to play. Will is very much still alive with a chance to win this tournament. And Jesse Day is at 18 wins, and we are still waiting on a result from Jesse's 28th game. So Jesse's still in the mix as well. He's going to be either 1.5 or 2.5 back from Dave, depending on his results. So looking like a 3-man race. David Eldar is also 3 back, and so I guess it's maybe possible for Eldar to win out. We'll have to take a look at that and do some math and whatnot. So it's still an open tournament here. We were thinking that Dave was going to run away with it, and now perhaps not so much.